Okay, so
All right.
hi guys. Here's Ivan. I'm happy to share with you for today's topics. So my topics is how to rank in Google fast. So I will give a little bit of the fundamental of how Google works, and then some essential ranking signal, and then when you have a new website, normally you don't get ranked very soon. So there's a way we could actually anti the what we call a sandboxing period. So your new website can actually rank faster, and some methods for you to increase the content relevancies. And last but not least would be how to submit the content to Google, so it will actually speed up the entire process. Right. So basically, I'm from Hong Kong, just a regular Hong Kong guy who like to do a lot of SEO and testing the SEO stuff. So I did build like 50 sites 10 years ago, I think, or more than that, to test out different aspects of the SEO. And some of them actually gain quite good traffic, and end up I flipped the site. I sold to some company as well. And I'm also the co-organizer of the Hong Kong WordPress meetup as well. So I suppose a lot of you already understand that, but just for some beginner, you might want to get an idea the differences. So the red highlight color will be the SEM, which you pay per click. You pay more money, you get the ranking up. So the green part, which is the organic part, what we call is SEO. So normal user, they actually trust the content in the SEO more than the advertisings, because they know Google give them this result because this should be the best piece of content. So basically how it works, in really simple terms, it's just a single sentence. So it's basically the relevancies and the popularity of it. So in SEO, relevancies mean the keywords in the contents, whether people actually search related keywords or things like that. And for the popularity will be the backlink, which means some other website, they put your website links to it. And the reason they do that is that maybe your piece of content is really referenceable. So they want, when they write some content or they write a blog post, they want to refer to some legit data. So they could do a link. Or if you are doing an online shop, so you could actually get backlink from your supplier, because if you are the dealer of that place, normally they want more people to go to your website. So this is how you can get some backlink in the beginning. So this guy, which is a ex-CEO of Google, Eric, so that was an interview like back to 2010, and that reporter is really, really good and aggressive. And at the end of the day, Eric actually snipped out that there is more than 200 ranking signals to rank a particular keyword and then to show up your website. So in the old days, you will require to have the exact keywords or phrases in your contents in order to be ranked. But nowadays, Google actually get a lot smarter now. So they do understand every search, the rationale behind. So you do not now need to exactly have the keywords in order to rank for a particular type of keywords. For example, if someone search Apple now, I suppose you want to see iPhone, iPad rather than the fruits, right? So that is the idea of the reason behind a search. They want to say majority of them, when they search Apple, they want to look for like iPhone or iPad instead of the fruit. So the more data Google actually gather every single day, and then Google will understand every single search intention, and then they will show the search result differently. Right, I need to show this in a PowerPoint. Let me just make it smaller. So in the old days, when I was talking about putting keywords, this is how we do it, like 10 years ago. Can you see that? So basically, it is a tricky way. More than 10 years ago, we put a white text on a white background. that is what we do to put more keywords in the footer of the website, which does not work anymore. But this just gives you a general idea how people want to put a lot of the keywords in the contents. And the other thing is the search engine result page. So to give you a general idea, for the desktop, you would got like title, link, and the description. And some of them, they may have install or configure something called the schema. So it will show things like site link here. So you will have more space comparing to your competitor. And for the mobile, you actually have the favorite icon, and then the link, and then title, and then the descriptions, right? And I did a test on the right-hand side here. I did a test. I changed the favorite icon to an arrow. And it is quite interesting. After I changed that, more people will be clicking my website, because from the psychology aspect of it, if you put a finger pointing to a direction, you actually will follow where I point to. So this is just a very simple tricks to try to point the people to click the link. But this is the idea that if you have a logo, normally for the favorite icon, because it's too small, it's quite hard to see. So you might want to change to something else in order to stand out from all the results. And these figures, I suppose you might notice as well. A lot of my clients, they actually experience more than 75% now from the mobile who go to your website versus the desktop, which is like 20 to 25%. But interestingly, a lot of the company, when they start doing the website design, or they want to do their website revamp, they actually focus on the desktop version first instead of the mobile, which is a little bit weird to me, because most of the users are on your mobile, but you're putting all the efforts in the desktop. But I suppose that is because of the tradition that they used to see on the desktop. So that's why they make the decision on the design or the confirmation on the desktop. But if you're trying to do a new design or revamp, maybe you could try to put more focus on the mobile. I don't mean that you do a really bad job on the desktop version. I mean, you just put a relatively proportion to the mobile and the desktop, which make more sense because that's where the user are. Oh, by the way, during the presentation, if you have any question, you could just put it in the Q&A and the chat as well. So for Google, they do change a lot for the algorithm. Particularly, or the recently, May 2020, they actually changed something. So you will experience some fluctuation of your traffic as well. In the past, there's some critical algorithm, which we call penguin, which is targeting the bad guy and the thin content. More recently will be the mobile indexing. So that's why if you have a mobile site, you actually got more chance to rank on the top. And also this is quite a critical one, which is in 2015, which is RankBrain. So this is the first big data or machine learning project that every single day there's like billions of search in Google. So Google actually collects a lot of data. So they try to understand the reason people search, and then they will give a better result. So because Google is doing a really simple thing, the technology is really complex, but the thing they're trying to do is simple, which is someone who type of keywords, they want to make a search, and then they give you the best result out of it, which is the whole purpose of the search engine. So if someone put a keyword in, and then for all the result from the first one to the 10th, they're giving you the same content of the result. I suppose on the next day, you might not use Google at all, right? So they're trying to give you a unique answer, which is best to answer your questions. So that's the whole idea of what Google is doing. And how frequent actually Google update the algorithm, because a lot of SEOs are following different algorithms in order to catch up the trend. So 10 years ago, they do about one update a day, but now they do about roughly 10 updates daily for the changes for the system, for the search engine. So some of them, they're in the back end, so you will not notice, but some of they actually do it on the front end. For example, in the past years, you can see a lot of them, a lot of the features, like they're showing more video, showing YouTube in the search result. They're showing more image. They're showing more like the FAQ. So the more changes, actually, Google wants to do is keep you on the search engine. They don't want you to leave the site. So that's the whole idea, because the longer you stay in the Google search, the more advertising you are likely to see, and then you will click on it. So that's how they generate income as well. So if you have a new site, or if you have a new article or products, so the first thing you can do is you can do a search. You can type like site : and then type your website, and then it will show you how many results are actually in the database of the Google. And for the pages, say I have a new pages, I put it up. You can see I actually got it indexed. So this is the syntax you could use in order to check whether a particular page or particular domains is already indexed in Google. Because if your page is not indexed, no one will be able to put a keyword and then to show your content. So first thing first, you need to make sure Google index your page before you could optimize the keywords around the page. So this is the three-step process that Google do. First of all, Google, they will crawl different sites in the world, which I think there is about 1 something billion sites in the world, but only 10% they're actually active. But still, there's a lot of websites. So every single day, they crawl a lot of the site, like multiple times. And they try to find your new content as well. And then if they find it, they will try to index it. But it doesn't mean that you have 100 page, they will index 100 page. Because maybe 10% of your content, they will treat it as like a theme content. So they will put maybe 80 or 90% of your content in that database, and then try to compete with other when someone searches keywords. And as you can see, the crawl means that they are seeing a particular page, and then they will see the content of the page, and then they will follow the links of that page to other pages as well. So this is a reason why backlink is really important, especially in the early days for the anti-sandboxing period. Because if you got backlink, which means existing site, might be trustworthy site, they got your links here, so Google already trust that site, and then they follow the link they got in the content, and then they go to your site, and then this is how Google find your new pages or the new domain, and then they will put trust on it because someone else actually endorse your website. So backlink is very important. So if you have a new page or new content, how quickly Google can actually find you. So I did a test, which it could take an hour or two. It doesn't take that long. But if you want to do quicker, you could do that. That's actually 10 minutes written in traditional Chinese. I did a test, which is the quickest I could not beat, which is 26 seconds. But you do not just sit and wait, and then it will happen like this. It doesn't work that way. You need to manually submit the new content to Google in order for them to index. But it is not guaranteed because sometimes they got too busy. It actually takes time to read your site, but it could go up to like 20 seconds to find your site. So there's some essential ranking signal I will share. So there's about 200 as mentioned, but I will only share the top 3. The first one would be the keywords, which is the content, which you saw early on. And then the second one will be the backlink. And then the third one will be related to the algorithm called RankBrain. So UX means user experience. So how user experience actually affect your SEO. So here's an example. If I search English tutor, and then it will show you like a lot of result. And then particular one, which I highlight here, will be the one I think is more eye-catching. The reason is that it got numbers here, because people are really sensitive with number. So normally we put number in the title, we attract more people to click. And also, this is not just a regular number. This is actually the price of how much if I want to find a tutor per hour. So people are even more sensitive to price. So the idea is more user, when they search these keywords, and then more people, they actually click on this link rather than the top 3 link, because this is more attractive. And also, if I click on it, if the content are actually good, which means my time to stay on the site is actually longer, versus if the content is not good enough, so they will like read for like 20 seconds and they quit. So now let me click on that link and then to show you what is the position of that now, because the screenshot I took, which is like 3 months ago, let me have a look now. See, it actually grew from 4th to the first one now, because it is more eye-catching. And you can see more other search results, they're putting numbers in. You can see a lot of them, they're putting numbers in. But 3 months ago, the competition wasn't high, so they already stuck on the top, and then they do more optimization, and then they keep on staying on the top. So having a number is good for the CTR, the click-through rate. And I remember, I'm not sure, is it Brian Dean or some other really famous SEO expert, they did a research. The research they did is whether having a number is better, and then they realized that having a number actually increased like 40% of the click-through rate. And then they study more, whether odd number or even number is better. And then they realized that odd number is actually more attractive for user to click on. Particularly the number 7 is most eye-catching, which people will click on. I'm not sure whether that refer to the lucky 7 or not, but you can see a lot of the website, they're showing like you have like 10 tips. You could download 17 tips of the SEO, things like that. So they like to use that number, as well as in the pricing, they put like $97 or $147 for the product, things like that. So you can see that number is actually driving more attention, and that's why they use it more. And we keep on saying that people do a search because of a particular reason. So here's the reason that people search. So there's a 3 different circle here. The orange circle means that 80% of the people, they do something called information query. They search for just for checking information, stuff like that. 80% of people, they do that in Google, and they do not have a high intention of buying your stuff. They're just regularly searching stuff. And then the blue one is actually what we call a navigational, which is more like a branding. For example, people search for iPhone, they search for Apple, they search for Samsung. And back in 2019, the most searched keywords is quite interesting, which is Facebook. Everyone knows Facebook, how you can type that URL, but that is actually the top search keywords in 2019. But you cannot compete with that because it's not your brand. And about 10% of those people they do in Google is actually doing that brand search. And they have a medium chance to buy stuff, but because it's really branded products, you can actually compete that. And the last 10% will be a transactional keywords. So transactional keywords meaning they do a search and then they will do a purchase. So this is where the value from. For example, people search iPhone free shipping. You search like I don't know, Xgoodbye has that, Xgoodbye coupon code, something like that. So the reason you search that is that you want to purchase. So that's why you want to find a coupon code, right? So when you know the research reason behind, and then you can put those keywords in your content in order to drive more transactional searches, which is the highest intention for purchase. And this is a quick check that showing Google comparing 2018 to 2020. The ad revenue are actually dropping. Facebook are pretty much the same. Amazon actually growing. And the reason Amazon is growing is that if you go to Amazon, I suppose you don't look for information, right? You go there because you want to buy something. So that's fall into the transactional query part. So that's why the brand, they know that if they put advertising in Amazon, people click on that, they will go to the product. It's more high chance they will purchase the product. So that's why they actually have more ad revenue. So the third part, I might need to speed up a little, will be the anti-sandboxing period. So basically, it has never been confirmed by Google, but a lot of the testing or people, they keep saying that when they have a new website, it is actually quite hard to rank in Google for weeks or even for 6 months. So sandboxing means that your website is new, so Google actually doesn't know you a lot, so they don't trust you. Because you might be making a fake website to selling dress or things like that. So they do not know you at all. So you need to experience what we call a sandboxing period. So Google could understand you a little bit more, but we could actually shorten the time for the sandboxing. So basically, what we could do is if you have a new website, which Google put you in the sandboxing period for 6 months, so once you launch your site, you put some contents in, you need to build up more social signal for the first week, like you put in Google My Place, you go to all the social media account as you could find, and then create a profile, a complete profile, and then put your website and stuff in. So in order to create what we call social signal, in order to let Google to understand that, oh, this might be trustworthy because it's got a lot of social signal there, which means driving some traffic. And then you could actually pay for someone to write something in the newspaper, like a tier 2, tier 3 newspaper media. So you could pay for press release services, or you could do guest posting on the second week. So once you did that, those services, they will circulate for hundreds of the media. You should be able to be picked up for a few of those. So once you got those press release feature in some of the news site, because normally news site or media site, they are more trustworthy to Google. So after that, on the third week, you could amplify that effect by doing some guest posting in blog and refer to those press release link. So you're amplifying those article which is already written and already put a backlink to your website. And if you have a database on the week 4, you could actually send people to your guest post as well, which already linked to your press release. And on the week 4 as well, you could find more friends, or you could actually use some services to increase your social signal. And then it actually makes more sense in reality that, let's say you got a feature in a newspaper, so more people will actually write about it in the blog. And then when more people see what you write about it in the blog, they will share in the social media. So what you do need to do in that process is that you simulate what is actually happening in the real world if you got picked up by the newspaper, right? So the reason you need a backlink from that because they're trustworthy. So it would definitely shorten the sandboxing time because of the entire process like this, which is not really difficult to follow. And in the past, the sandboxing could take 6 months. And for this process, you could only take 1 month. So it saves you a lot of time. Right. So the fourth part will be the increase the content relevancy part. So I did a search on these 2 words. So one is website optimization. The other one is also website optimization. The only difference is one is with the S, one is with the C. And I make a search, and you can see that they have a difference of almost like 8 times different because of the single letter difference. So this is why you do need to do a really good job on the keyword research, because if you did it wrong or you put like this one, which is optimization with the S, you're losing like 8 times of what people they're searching for. So this is just for the Google search result. And for the image, with the different keywords, you can see the image for the first one is the same, but other than that, they're actually different. And in video as well, in YouTube as well, this is not just like 30 times different. This is, I don't know, 100 times or something like that. Yeah, 30 times. Yeah. I'm not very good at math. Yeah. So how do you do keyword research in order to increase the relevancy of your content? So it is actually quite simple, and it is actually free to do so. So the first one is you go to do a Google search of the keywords you want to, and then it's still loading. Let me just wait. Okay. So it will show you the result that when people search this keyword, it will suggest other keywords, which start with like English tutor. So this Google suggested keywords list is actually based on the volume that people search. So Google already give you all the hints that you could put it in the contents like this. And you could actually put like space bars after your keyword search. It will give you more result. And you could put all this keywords result in Excel, and then to see whether you could put it in your content. Because some of the keyword, it might not be relevant to your business anyway. So, and the second method will be at the bottom of it, which we call LSI, or just related keywords. As you can see, for the related keywords, it doesn't mean that it has to include the keyword I start searching. For example, for English tutor, this one, well, actually got all the English tutor wording here, but it doesn't start with English tutor something. We got some keywords on the front as well. So you could put all those keywords as well to the Excel, and then you can have a list of keywords. You could put it in your website. And the third method is that when you do a search, when you see this is, let's say this is a competitor, and I would click on it, and then I will click back once I got it in, and then it's loading. It will give you like 6 keywords that people who search for English tutor who go to this website, and they will be also be interesting if those keywords. So now you have like 3 different ways, which is all free to do, like Google suggests, and then you can do related keywords, and then this is competitive keywords. And I do not suggest that you do a lot for this one, because what I did, I click on the website and then I stay for 1 second and then I leave. It's actually not good for them because it increased the bounce rate and the stay on time maybe like 2 seconds. But this is sort of showing you the demo, how you could do the keyword research. Right. Okay. The other way, I actually built a tools in order to do the keyword research, which is called Rank Up Content, which is a Google extension on top. As you can see, it will show all the related keywords and all the Google suggest keywords, and then it tells me that on the first page of the top 10 website, how many times, which is a score, how many times they have been using all the related keyword that Google find it actually make more sense. And it showed the length as well. So I could easily compare and then to figure out how many words I should put in the content, how many times of the keywords or the related keywords I should put it in order to rank on the top. So this is quite a handy tool. I built it like 3 months ago. It's called Rank Up Content. Right. Okay, so the last part, we'll be submitting content to Google. So I suppose a lot of you are actually, or all of you are actually using WordPress, right? So if you're using no matter Yoast SEO or Rank Math SEO plugin, after you install the plugin, there's a file called robot.txt. Normally, it only has the first 3 lines. I would suggest you to put the sitemap link there as well. It helps Google to speed up the process to find your contents. And if I go to the sitemap, which will give you all the sitemap for your website, so which means if you're putting new content in your site, it will automatically generate in the sitemap. And then after that, you submit to Google Search Console. So you need to first verify that you are the owner of the site, and then after that you go to sitemap, and then you put your links here, and then it will tell you that how many links you actually submit. For example, I submit like 290 links, but a lot of them actually got indexed, but 6 of those they're not. So Google Search Console is really a good place that to let Google to understand your website. And if your site has any problem, it will actually tell you as well. And it will give you an idea how many keywords and the impressions showing. Like, for example, I rank for SEO for the first page in Hong Kong. So you can see generate a lot of the impression, but the click isn't good because I rank like the 8th or something like that. So it gives you all the information you require in order to improve different keywords of your site. Let me see. Right. So the last bit, I'm not sure whether we'll have a Q&A session now, or I can share a little bit more.
We do have several questions. So is this part going to take a while, or?
Or maybe we can answer the question first, and then if we still got time, I can share a little bit more.
Okay, sure. So our first question comes from Christine, and Christine says, "Hi, Ivan. So my site is induced. It shows up on site domain on Google, but it does not show up on normal Google search if I just type the name of my website. I've set up my Google Business and Google Search Console and have keywords in my website. What am I doing wrong?"
Right. So if you type site.domain, you can actually show up, right? So which means Google already indexed your site. But you said normal Google search to type your name. I'm not sure your name of website, but it sounds like that Google already knows your site, already indexed it, but it doesn't compete with other sites that to let you rank at the top. For example, if your site is, I don't know, your site called cosmetic, let's say, this is really competitive keyword, so it would be really hard for people to find your site. But normally, company sites should be quite unique. So I'm not sure whether you actually experience what we call the sandboxing period. So you need some backlink and stuff to, in order to get rid of that period as soon as possible.
All right, Christine, I hope that helps you. Now, our next question comes from Dan, and Dan would like to know, what SEO method would you recommend for older websites? His website is 7 years old, to compete for highly competitive keywords.
Well, I suppose for comparing to old to new website is that the old website, Google already put some trust on it. So you have a high chance to compete with other keywords. But competing other keywords, especially for the high competitive world, you actually need a lot of stuff. The top 3 ranking signal you already know, which is like content, the backlink, and the UX. The UX also refer to the site structure as well. So to me, content you could easily do, and backlink is harder to get. So if you can form a backlink strategy, which your competitor are not doing, that will give you the benefit of it. Because for some keywords, you do need to analyze that how many backlink your competitor they're getting at the moment. And if they're getting some backlink, which you do not, so which means you need to get those backlink as well, or even more, in order to have stronger signal that Google believe your content over your competitor.
All right. And our next question comes from Daniel 10. Now, Daniel would like to know, is a longer keyword better than a shorter keyword?
Right. This is not like a single answer, because longer keyword, we call that a long tail keyword. Normally, the longer keyword people search for are less competitive, so you could easily rank on the top. But the search volume, normally they're lower because we don't type that long in Google. But the good thing is, if someone they do type that long, which means they really want to get information about it, which means you could convert that to your customer. So for particularly for new site, I suppose you could start with what we call a long tail strategy to get the long tail keyword start rolling first, and then when your site get more trustworthy, and then you can target those hot keywords. So I refer that hot keyword to your shortened keyword.
Right, right. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Our next question is, are Google Ads and Google Search Console the same?
No. Google Ads is where you put advertising in. Google Search Console is something for the webmaster of the website to understand the website better, and it's free. So you can connect your website with the Search Console to gain your ownership, and then you can read all the information. And I suppose if you're using Google Analytics, you could actually link Google Ads and Google Search Console as well to understand the whole traffic journey of your website from the Google Analytics point of view.
Okay, and our next question comes from Jackie. Now, Jackie has been asking a lot of questions today. Keep them coming, Jackie. We love them. Now, Jackie would like to say, hi, Ian. How about rank up content with Pro version? Does it still show all the information like what you showed us here?
Yeah, the one I show you, like the score and how many times of the keywords has been using, is actually rank up content Pro version. We do have a free version, but it shows less content. The Pro version is exactly what I showed you, and it works with any languages and in any country as well.
Okay. Our next question is, how important is low bouncing rate to get higher ranking?
Right. So basically what we aim for is the user experience. Let's say someone who go to your website, they only see one page and then they leave, which means you will have a high bounce rate, right? But if that person who stayed to your website for 10 minutes to read that particular article, it actually sends a signal to Google that it's not just because of the bounce rate caused the issue. The people actually like the content, they read a lot, but after they read the article, they're happy, so they leave. It doesn't mean that they visit for one page is bad. It actually a lot of different aspects you need to combine to see whether you can get high ranking. If they stay there for long, it is good. If they visit one page for 10 seconds, that will be a really bad signal.
Yeah. I think it'd be better if people were to stay on your page longer, even if it was just one page, am I right?
Yeah, especially nowadays, a lot of websites, they are one-page design, so you actually got only one page.
Yeah, and apparently they just make it easy to scroll down, so you don't have to click anywhere. It makes
But
things a lot easier.
I do not like one page though, because you only got one shot.
Oh yeah, that's true. You have only one shot to make an impression.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next question comes from Andy Silva. Now, I'd like to know, hi Ivan, may I know some tips to get backlinks?
Sure. If you're selling product, the easier is you get it from your supplier, because you're selling their stuff. They will be happy to put your link there. And the other one will be asking some of your customer. If you have a good relationship, you might be able to put your link there. And the third one is you could find some website which is like a blogging site, but not Medium, because Medium you can put link in, but it is actually something we call low follow link, which give you no benefit of backlink. So you need to look for website like a blogging site, not YouTube, not Facebook, not Medium, but you can maybe fraud that you can put stuff in and then you could put a link in. And actually that is something we call referring to the do follow backlink.
Okay. Now our next question comes from Erica Chua. Now the question is, my website is built on Wix. When I type in the keywords, I can only see my competitor's website appear, but not mine. What could be the issue?
Yeah, could be the issue that Wix is actually in US and the server is not really quick. And someone did a test which comparing 3.2 million websites from Wix to WordPress, which they end up finding the result WordPress is better for the SEO. So I suppose you could install a WordPress site in Exabyte and then it could boost up your ranking.
All right. Okay, and we have another question here. This one's anonymous, but that's okay. So the question is, OH domain, is it still valid to enhance ranking, though in different subject matter?
Well, OH domain has a benefit that Google know the history. So if the history is good, which means you could rank better. But if the domain has been using for spamming, so the OH domain doesn't give you much benefit, but even worse, that Google already know it's a spam site. So it's not just whether it's or not, it's the site whether it is trustworthy.
Okay, and then our next question is from Avnish Rai. And Avnish would like to know, are there any free alternatives to Google Ads?
I would love to know that. They might give you like
you find out, tell us.
credit or something like that, but that's all you have.
Okay. All right. So next question: should we rank longer or shorter keywords?
If you start,
I think we've already been through this.
Yeah,
so.
the long tail keywords. Yeah, easier. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we can go through this later. We'll answer the rest. If a person comes into my website and stays for maybe 5 seconds and they navigate to other pages on my website, does that consider as a bounce rate?
No, so bounce rate means that they stay to your page for once and then they leave. If they see multiple pages, it is not count as a bounce.
Okay, Calvin, so you've got your answer there. Now, James is asking, does a one-page website do better for SEO?
Personally, I don't think so because you only got one chance for Google to rank. So if Google doesn't like your page, and you lost your only shot. So I suppose you have more pages will be better, and different pages will be targeting different keywords. So it will make more sense because you cannot have the entire Wikipedia on single page, right?
Yeah, that's true. It almost sounds like we are setting ourselves up to like kind of shoot ourselves in the foot if we have like a one-page website. So I think, like what you said, it'll be better to have several pages. That way, it's a contingency in the long run.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so our next question is, for keywords in websites, does Google only look at meta keywords, and do words in content help with Google ranking?
Meta keyword was no longer in use 10 years ago. They only look for the title and the meta description. Meta description is not for the SEO as well. It's for people to see in the search engine when they see the whether it is interesting to click in. So what you need for the keywords is inside the content, not put in the meta keywords.
Okay, now Jackie has another question for us. Hi, Ivan, again. If I leave a message on the blog you mentioned just now, can I take it as a backlink?
In most cases, for the WordPress comment area, if you put something in, that would be low follow backlink. No follow backlink means not much value.
Okay. Erica also has another question for us, and Erica's wondering, does putting an advertisement work better than SEO?
Yeah, good question. A lot of people, they actually not just putting ad better, they think putting ads is helping the SEO. The only thing I could think of the relationship is that you're sending more traffic in the site. So if the people, they like it, they will share it. But Google Ads to me is not better or worse. It's just how you put your strategy for the digital marketing. Some keywords you have not ranked for yet, you could actually put some keywords in, and then because people tend to believe in the content in the SEO instead of the advertising, because anyone can put it up there if they got money, right?
That's true. That's true. It absolutely makes sense.
Mm.
Okay, so we still have time for questions. We can go a little bit over 12. It's fine. Now, JJ
Sure.
is asking, which domain is better and recognized by Google more? EnglishTutor.com versus EnglishTutor-tutor.com versus EnglishTutor_tutor.com.
Right. So I suppose this question is referring to the dash and the hyphen. Which one is better? To Google, underscore is actually a character, if you want to be specific, and hyphen is actually a space. So, but if I were you, I would prefer English Tutor as a whole instead of any special character in between.
Is there any particular reason for that? Is there any particular reason?
Well, if only between hyphen and underscore, we go for hyphen. But if it is exact character like English Tutor, people tend to be typing the letter instead of, go for the special character. So it's good for the user to type as well.
Yeah, and it makes things easier for them as well. And it's easier to remember, I would think. Okay, Erica also asked, do we really need a landing page?
Depends on purpose. Let's say you have a website, you have lots of different content, but for a particular page, you want to convert the user to be a customer, or you want someone to download your ebook or sign up your newsletter. So having a landing page will be more focused for them to understand that what you are offering for them to do. Otherwise, they will see like, normally landing page, they don't have menu at all, right? So they are less distractive. So they could focus on what you ask them to do. Also, if you're doing Google Ads, normally you put traffic to the landing page as well.
Okay. I think we have time for one or two more questions. Now, this one, I'm not too sure if I understand this, but let's see if you can help me out. I have a new website that I launched in the last 2 weeks. How long will Google robots crawl my site, and how long will it take to get ranking?
Well, the sandbox period could take weeks to months. So the first thing you need to do would be submit your website to the Google Search Console. So you can tell Google you exist, and then you can do the site colon to search your site, whether Google find your site yet. If they do not, you need to submit in the Google Search Console, and then you can run that procedure for the anti-sandboxing. So Google will realize that, oh, this website, although it is new, but it's already mentioned in some media site and some social signal as well. So that site should be more trustworthy. So they will shorten the time for the sandboxing period.
Now, regarding the sandboxing period, like I have a little question myself. Is there a possibility that some websites can never escape the sandboxing period?
Can never trigger.
Yeah, can never. Is it possible?
Normally, it only takes months. It would be too bad if, or they did something, they did a wrong setting that they put their page for no index. Otherwise, Google should be able to find you.
Okay, so rest assured that there's always light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how long it takes. A few weeks, a few months, we'll get there. Okay, let's have one more question. This one is from Jackie again. Will affiliate link affect our website ranking?
You mean you're selling stuff, so you want traffic to your site, and then you send traffic to, say, Amazon to buy stuff, right? It won't affect your ranking. And in fact, if you are giving backlink to, say, Amazon, because Google trusts Amazon because they have been in the market for long, so the domain rating, the score should be high. But if you are giving link to some unknown e-shopping website because of earning the commission, that might actually harm your site. So it doesn't matter whether it is an affiliate link or not. It matters that the link you send traffic to is a good site which people trust, or it is a new site or spammy site. Because if you do a link to other site, this is pretty much like I endorse that website. So if you endorse something bad, which means you won't be too good either. So it doesn't matter if it's affiliate link or not. It matters whether the site you send to has good quality or not.
Okay. Well,
Great.
Ivan, I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us here at Webfest 2020. Actually, we were talking, me and the management, we were saying that you have such a lovely voice. So yeah, it's been an absolute privilege to listen to you for this last 45 minutes.
You like my hairstyle as well?
We love it. It's different. It suits you. But yeah, you have a really, really lovely voice, and we just wanted to say thank you for being here, taking time. And we just found out that I just found out you were from Hong Kong. So how are things over there? Is everything all right?
I think it's getting better. But everywhere in the world, it got locked down and things like that. It takes time. The best thing we could do is we lower our regular costs and then to see what we could do for digital transformation. So do more online stuff, try to find more income from there, or make the company more stable would be the good thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely well said. Well, thank you, Ivy, for joining us here at Webfest 2020. Okay, we're going to adjourn for lunch. Thank you so much once again. All right, for those of you who are watching, give him a virtual round of applause. It was a wonderful, insightful presentation. Thank you so much, Ivan.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.